116. Can you do something for me?
That background noise that you guys hear is a space heater.
Yeah,
it's cold.
It's really cold right now, and Valerie really wants the heat on.
Yes, because
As you can tell, she's in her jacket.
So if you hear that,
Yes.
just disregard that.
Ignore
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
So you guys,
Yes.
it's tax season.
It sure
my
is.
gosh.
Okay, off the top of you guys' head, do you know when is the last day to file your taxes? Ready, set, go.
April
March 2nd.
15th.
April 15th. March 2nd.
I said March 2nd. You said April?
It's April 15th.
April 15th.
We have that long?
Yes.
I could have
Yeah.
sworn it was March.
No, but
No.
hey, if you need it to be March, it can be March all day.
Yeah.
You know what?
The sooner
Get it
the
done.
better, but just make sure you
Yeah.
have all your tax documents.
It makes me kind of annoying when people say, I haven't filed my taxes yet, and it's like end of March. And I'm like, what are you doing with your life?
I haven't done mine yet.
I knew
Me either. I'm
See, I
like,
knew one of you.
Did you do yours?
procrastination.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm just waiting for it now.
Oh.
Oh, honestly, I didn't do it, so yeah.
Yeah,
But
your mom
must
did
be
it.
nice.
Yeah, but then we like to get it done so we can get it back. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? As soon as I get my W-2 in my hands, I'm like, let's do it.
How much are you getting back?
Not a lot, and I'm so freaking sad about that.
Hey, at least you don't have to
I was-
pay back.
I know. I can't
That's
believe
true.
we have to pay so much back.
I didn't have to pay back.
Oh wait, you don't?
No, remember we talked
Oh,
about
you,
this.
yeah.
I paid a lot for taxes,
taxes.
like from my checks,
So
but
you
I
don't?
didn't.
Oh, the
I don't
state
have to pay
didn't-
back. Yeah.
Have you ever?
Period.
Mm-mm.
Have you ever have to pay back?
Yes, last year because like my business, the Lila,
Oh.
but it's
You
crazy.
counted that?
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
you have
because
to. You had to.
like, but this year I didn't do any. I mean, last year I didn't do any business, so.
You know, I was jokingly, as a joke, guys. Okay, so if you're sensitive, sorry, I don't care. I mean, no, I don't. I'm just kidding. No, I don't care. I mean, sorry. Okay, in advance. I was telling my mom the other day. I was like, man, I wish there was a kid somewhere where I could claim, because man, don't y'all get like at least?
Like 2 days.
It depends.
It depends.
Yeah,
I don't know
like
how
you
it
get like a minimum of I think at least 1 or 2
But
bands.
it depends on like how much you make
That's
that year as well. So
Okay.
it just really varies from year to year, honestly.
But you can only claim like a max amount of dependents. I think it's like 3.
Oh.
3.
Period.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anywho's.
So what are you planning to do with your tax return money?
Ooh.
You know what?
Fully.
Honestly, it almost sounds kind of bad that I depend a lot on my tax
Girl,
return.
money is money, baby.
I know, and it's so bad because like last year I got a lot back, surprisingly, you know. So, and I used a lot of it. Not even gonna lie, I used a lot of it on towards like vacation, you know.
Ooh.
Well,
Just,
as you should, just like
I
extra.
know.
Treat yourself.
I know, as I
sister.
should, and all.
Yes.
But I'm kind of bad at saving. As a 28-year-old, you know, just it's so funny because the other day I
Yeah.
just had a. She's like,
It really goes to me too.
oh, thank goodness. Yeah, y'all are my people.
We're the same age now.
We are the same age.
Twinsies.
Wait,
She's 28.
but by the time she's 28, you're already going
no,
to be...
we're all going to be the same age.
At
For
one
like,
point, like, for, like,
17 days.
For 16 days.
16 days. Oh
And
yeah, and
then-
then it's my
and then
birthday.
she'll be
and then
29.
I'll be
She turns
29.
Oh my gosh.
You know? If you know, you know. The oldest is always the hottest.
Anyways,
But yeah, no, so I was nasty, yeah. But I really just depend on my tax money for like vacation, especially when traveling.
Yes.
A little bit here and there for like just, you know, miscellaneous, like I don't know, some new kicks or something,
Leisure.
like clothes, leisure.
Yeah.
But this year, since I'm not getting much, I'm gonna make a vow to myself right now in front of everybody as well to
Ooh.
just save it.
Just
Literally
save.
put it back.
Logo.
Save.
Just save
Save
it.
it.
save.
Instead of just do it, it's gonna be just
save
save it.
Ooh.
Stop. We need to-
Trademark that.
Seriously, just I love it. I really do. Okay, but yeah, so that's what I plan on doing because I'm not getting much back, so I'm just gonna save it
Period.
towards, you know, whatever
Buying whatever you want.
for the future, you know, just for my own self because I'm
Yes.
really not that good at saving, and and that's one of my goals this year. I know we talked about goals already, but
Yes.
I plan on saving for sure.
Do you think that now for you? Do you think that having problem or saving, the mindset of saving? Do you think that, you know, because you obviously said in a couple episodes ago that your mom was really good with money.
Like money conscious.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like do you think that rubbed off on you, or do you think that you're just bad at saving money because
I
you have
think
like
you're
an
independence now? You know.
No, I think a little bit of both, but definitely through my mom's too. Like, you know, like I got that mindset from her because we grew up like that. Like that's the mindset of, you know, we don't have money like that, so don't spend it, you know, just wastefully. You know, you got to learn how to save. So I'm a little bit both because, like you said, now I am more independent, so I kind of spend freely.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do know my limits for the most part.
Like, you know when to stop.
I know when to stop. I know when I'm like, okay, literally, I have to budget now. Like, this is my stopping point. You know?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it's hard out here, but we're surviving.
I don't know. For me, I don't know how Valerie feels, but for me, I feel like our parents, they were never really good with money. So
Really?
Absolutely not.
yeah, like I feel like because my mom, you know, like I introduced her a few episodes ago, that she's very like submissive, and so like she'll just kind of like whatever my dad does, like she'll just kind of do, you
Like,
know,
do as told.
right?
Really?
Yeah. So then it's like my dad, he's a big spender. I'm talking about like a big spender. So I feel like whenever he wants to go do stuff or buy
He'll
things,
just-
like he will just go do it, and then my mom's just like, okay, you know. And I think like now that she's a little bit older, she does know how to like give him a cap. But for me, growing up, I think always seeing him buy things like without even thinking about how
Like
much
a
is
budget.
how much is in the
Really?
account, or
Yeah.
how much do we have this month to budget to spend on leisurely activities. Instead of thinking like that, just went ahead and did it. So I think now, like growing up and being older, I was really bad in my early 20s, like just spending it on whatever. I could not save a cent.
Really?
Like I could not save a cent. I think part of that is just like, you know, obviously growing up with parents who just spent money on whatever. I don't know any different.
a lot of
you know,
it comes
so
from your like childhood and your
Yeah.
background, because if that's all
Yeah.
you're exposed to and
That's all
know
you
of,
know.
that's all you
Yeah.
know, then I
so
mean,
it's
it's
like
gonna
okay, money is disposable,
Money's just
you know.
money,
But in
yeah.
reality, oh no, now that I'm a little bit older, it's like it's definitely not like that at all.
It's like sacred.
Yes,
honestly.
literally, money is the root of all evil. For
is.
real.
For me, I feel like one, like my dad made my mom in charge of all the budgeting.
Oh,
And so like he did that without knowing like what even is in the budget. So he would
Yeah.
spend without even knowing.
Right.
But for me personally, as like my own person, I feel like because me and Sutana growing up, we had to pay bills.
yeah.
To,
Girl starting
like-
at 14.
like, we had to
Like
pay
when
like
you got the
no
first
excuse.
job, yeah.
like we had to pay like we had to contribute to something in the household, like pay
Right.
for electricity, pay for trash, pay for something at 14.
And your siblings too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
As long as you had
Yeah.
a job,
You were paying.
You were contributing to
Contributing.
some type of bill. And I feel like that mentality kind of messed me up because I feel like finally when I got my own money, like I wanted to spend it quickly
Yeah.
on things that I
Makes
wanted
sense, because
like
now
right
you-
away. Right away.
Yeah,
Right.
because like it's like if I don't spend it for me, then I'm gonna have to pay someone else's bills. Or I'm gonna have to pay
Yes.
something else. When it's like
Yeah.
it's my money I worked hard for, and I wanna spend it for me. But I'm just so afraid that like if I don't hurry up and spend it on myself or buy something for myself, then it's like it has to go towards someone else's bills or something.
Wow, I never.
That's why I used to have. I
See
mean,
it from
even
that
now,
way.
I used to have a bad spending habit.
Yeah.
Even now, I do, but like it's
Yeah,
definitely
but-
not as bad.
Right. I was like, you
Yeah.
used to be a
Yeah.
lot worse, but I think you've gotten a lot
Yeah,
better.
it's definitely not as bad.
Yeah.
But that's why I feel like it's really hard to understand the concept of money when you don't when you were never really around like
Or,
the
like,
importance-
exposed-
The discipline from
exposed
it,
to
yeah.
it, yeah.
Educated.
Educated.
Even our parents not really educated about money, like how it works
Yeah.
and like the worth of the dollar bill.
The worth, yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
not like we
Literally
grew
the
up
value.
around money either. Like we did not grow up around
I'm talking
money.
about we went to St. Paul's food pantry
Food
in
pantry,
Green Bay.
yeah, we
to
used
get,
to get, like, free food
to get food. We
from
went to Salvation
churches,
Army,
yeah.
churches, like the whole nine. We
See,
did.
And you guys
that's
had
like-
a big family too.
Yeah.
So,
And that's like
growing
the
up.
thing that was like I feel like kind of fucked me up in the head too, because it's like we were living such like a poor lifestyle, but then at the same time, like every weekend we would see our parents spend money lavishly.
Yes.
Or like whenever
That's
we
what-
had
like no limit.
Yeah.
no limit.
Yeah.
Or whenever we had like guests come over, they would just spend
It's like,
and like
damn, where's all this money
treat them
coming
with all
from?
the hospitality. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like I see with like people, well, at school, with some of these kids, you know, like we have this little, what is it, like a program where our counselor will discreetly send like canned foods home to families or kids that we think that need extra
I
food.
love
I know, I love it so
that.
much for like the hunger, which, you know, we really
Yes,
do care.
yeah.
And so, but then oddly enough, some of these kids that I see that are taking these food home, they come to school with like brand new pairs of Jordans. They talk about like, you know, their brand new Nike hoodies and all that. And I'm like, so in my mind, I'm like, your parents don't have money for food, but they have money for a brand new like materialistic things.
And it's like I feel like that can go a different number of ways. Like it could be like our parents, right, that where they just kind of use their money for whatever, and then when it really comes down to it, they depend on like donations for the necessities.
Yeah.
And I just hate that because it just all comes down to like the education portion of money, like how important is money, how you need a budget, what you need to spend your money on,
Priorities.
like the priorities, like the necessities, like food, clothing, housing, water, you know, like basic stuff that should be a simple understanding, but not everybody gets it.
I feel like just like in the US in general, like the education on like money and spending and credit and finances and all of that, I feel like the US is the whole US is lacking. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like we can't really blame our parents because they were literally kids raising kids, but at the same time it's like now that we're parents, like I know that like I don't want to be suffering like how am I going to get my next meal,
or having your kids,
how am I going to make sure I have enough money for rent, or like I don't want the water to get cut off, the electric to get cut off, you know, and like because I've had my water cut off before because like I forgot to pay it or something, and just that feeling, I felt so shitty and crappy. That's like, oh shit, like I got my water turned off, you know. But then like imagine like it being turned off because you didn't know how to budget,
right?
Yeah,
because it's your fault.
And when we're talking about this, it's like no shame at all to anybody who's going through any type of
no shame at all
monetary circumstances. Like trust me, we
understand.
I've had to scrape up pennies and like coins to be able to afford, you know, food. And like I've been like, trust me, I've been
crazy when you think about financial stuff like that. You think about money and credit, but there's so much more than that. There's like financials, there's savings accounts, there's lines of credits, there's retirement accounts.
It's just so much.
There's so much.
It's really overwhelming.
It makes my brain,
like,
I know I was gonna say it makes my brain
like
hurt.
you can have like a whole seminar over it, but then I'm like, if you don't implement those things into your life, you're gonna be like, what the
but then like Valerie said, it's like it's we're lacking in that, like that's something that they should have taught in high school. It should have been like some kind
like
of
a mandatory
for real.
Yes,
for real.
Just
They need to they need you guys
make
you guys
protest.
yeah, like make that part of your high school curriculum. Like you guys need to definitely introduce like credit, resume building, like
filing your taxes,
literacy,
filing taxes, like how to manage your money, like simple things like that, how to open a bank account. Like I feel like those things are definitely life lessons that need to be taught more, because then you come to people like us, I mean like majority of Americans,
where
right,
you have to learn the hard way.
You learn the hard way, and it's how do you learn the hard way is by going through the bad parts, and then you learn from that, like trial and error, but still it's like
you don't learn until you're almost in your 30s,
or like high, deep in a debt, you know, like even that, like I feel like that is a huge one, especially for people who want to go to college. Like you don't understand how loaning money works, and then by the time you know it, when you're all done with 4 years of college or 8 years or whatever the course may be, you're like thousands and thousands of dollars in debt, and it's like at freshly 18 years old, you don't understand what that is. You know, what does that mean? You're just like, okay, I signed this paper so I can go to school, and that's it, and I pay it back later. Cool.
And now you have to go back and pay it all back.
But they don't understand, you know, like the interest, and like it's just
like paying
so
before your statement date, paying after your statement date, and
interest going up.
It's so much.
It's a whole lot.
It's like a whole thing. Like I'm just like, I wish we had more knowledge about that. Which in reality, like I know some tech schools like teach those like skills, but I mean, I feel like all high schools need to teach it, because those are just like basic.
Those are the crucial age right before you enter the real world, where they need to have that knowledge.
Where you're literally like by yourself, and that's it. Like no more help.
I feel like that's just like the thing in the U.S. too. It's like, it's not that you have a lot of money, you have to have a good credit score.
Which
is like so crazy, because anytime you apply for anything,
or they go hand in hand.
Anytime you go for anything, they run your credit score.
They look at your credit first.
They run that check. And it's like, if you have a bad credit score, even if you have like thousands of dollars to put down, no, you have a shitty credit score. No.
It's honestly crazy how it works.
They really do depend on the credit in everything, especially in the U.S., like you said. So it's funny to think about, you know, these freshly 18-year-olds like, I can't wait till I turn 18 so I can move out. And I remember, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm guilty of this. I remember, you know, just being a dumb little teenage, and I'm like, don't want to live in my parents' household, so I'm like, whenever I'm 18, I'm gonna move out, blah 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 blah.
I'm done.
And then my parents would be like, oh, okay, go ahead and do that. I would like to see you try. And now I'm like, you know what, you're right, I can't live on my own. I'm not going to be able to, because like you said, I'm not even like, I don't even know how it works, you know, how to manage, how to budget, paying for your own rent and groceries, everything wise. So I'm like, you know what, mom and dad,
It's a lot harder. It's a lot easier said than done.
It is. I feel like a lot of people, they think that living on their own is really easy. But when you think about it, you have, let's say, rent. Just rent by itself is at least $500-$600.
Girl, more than that.
Like if you were to just get a one bedroom, let's say 600 if you're lucky.
Let's say 700.
Let's say 7. Okay, let's say 700.
Just to be realistic.
700. Right. Electricity is like 100, 150. Water is probably 100 or less.
Yes.
Wi-Fi, that's about 80. And then if you have a car payment, car insurance, and your phone. And that's
not even including groceries.
Not even including groceries. Yeah. And so I think people, they just think about, when they think about living on their own, they think straight about the independence of, I'm going to be by myself. I'm going to have my own house, my own time, my own environment.
Yes.
But it's like, it's hard. Like, people think it's so easy, but it's hard.
Like, I don't have to listen to anybody. I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. But it's like, girl, in reality, are you going to be happy? Because you're going to be struggling,
like,
scraping just to pay
like,
the bills.
I want to go back and live with my parents, but really, I don't really want to, because even then I paid bills, so...
Yeah, that's true.
It wasn't good for me. For Sadie, it's a different story.
Well, right now,
Did you have to pay?
No, I didn't. I didn't until I know we were spoiled rotten.
Wow.
But then I mean, it's not like, you know, we were giving everything was given handed to us. We still had to pay obviously our own car insurance,
stuff,
our own car payments, car insurance, phone bill, you know, food or whatever, gas money, whatever. But not necessarily house and like rent and mortgage or whatever. Up until like just recently, I am now helping my parents with their mortgage. My brother and I, it's just us two living, and so we're paying.
But that's because now you have like an actual big girl job.
It's like a career,
like a career job.
Yeah, it's not like working on 116
McDonald's.
No, I was making $7.25.
Girl,
but tell me why we were working like 14 hours a day. I know we already talked about this.
We already talked about this.
Yeah, I know, but it's still funny.
But that's the root of us. 116 at McDonald's.
Literally, I swear that was like some illegal shit.
No, that literally like
working
Tim and Patty.
Shout out Tim and Patty. Thanks for buying her like
getting called OSHA.
I'm just kidding. But then no, like seriously, now we are paying. I'm helping my parents with mortgage and everything.
That's nice.
But like you said, because I have an actual real job now.
Career,
so back then, I feel like my parents, they didn't like handed it all to us, but then they also didn't let us like
walk freely, without having to do
something. I feel like your parents, like they had a good balance because they didn't like throw unnecessary like bills on you guys. They're just like, okay, you have your own bills, you pay for your bills, you know,
like the necessities. Like they didn't depend on you to keep the roof over their head or whatever, you know,
to have adult responsibilities.
And like granted, I get like every family is different or whatever, and like how you acknowledge money is different, but like just like obviously the differences like in, you know, how like your experience with your parents and how they depended on you for money versus our parents, I feel like is totally polar opposite, you know. It is, I feel like because, you know, ever since me and Valerie were 14, like literally as soon as we got a job, like
14,
water bill, electricity bill.
I remember like even to this day, like working, because whenever we started working at McDonald's, you could only work on the weekends.
Saturday and Sunday
you could only work on the weekends. And you can only work like certain hours. And I remember like I would only work on weekends, but I would have to pay my phone bill. I would have to pay for Sammy's phone bill because Sammy wasn't working.
Sammy wasn't working.
Phone bill, Sammy's phone bill, and then I had to pay for car insurance on, remember the little blue car?
Well,
I wasn't even able to drive yet, but I was paying for car insurance on that car.
Honey,
and then we had to pay for the trash bill. So think about all those bills that I had to pay for, and I was only working 2 days a week on the weekends. I'm getting paid $7.50.
Probably like you probably had like maybe $60 left to spend.
I mean, I don't know. Okay, like obviously there's a part of me that like resents it, like, oh damn, like we had to pay bills when we were such a young age, like that fucking sucks. But then at the same time, another part of me is like, you know, it was nice that I had a job and I was able to help out too, because I know that they were struggling with money.
See, that's
so it's like I'm torn, you know. It's like half is like kind of resentment in a way, and then half is kind of like, oh, but then I was able to help them out but then now that I'm a little bit older, it's like, but wait, were they taking advantage of me? It's like
That's what
a mixture of feelings.
Let's
you
unpack
know?
that. Let's unpack that. Let's unpack that.
It's just a mixture because it's not easy to just be like, oh, like it sucks that, you know, at a young age we had to work and pay bills,
Pay the adult bills,
have to,
right?
Do the adult things.
do the
Grow
adult
up
things, and I
at a
think
first fucking kid
I think
age.
that's what forced us to grow up, especially explains now why me and you, Val, like how we both have money problems is because
I sure do, baby.
because you know it's just like them, right? Like my parents when they're younger,
she-
they didn't have no money, so now when they're older, like, you know, when we were kids, they spend their money on whatever, and now it's kind of like the cycle continues, so we
Cycle.
don't stop it, y'all.
We're
It's gonna
stopping it now.
continue. Stop. Okay,
L.
one, two, three. Stop. Don't spend money on unnecessary things.
think about before you click
Add to cart.
add to cart, honestly. And well,
Okay, let's unpack that. Okay, so I know Sadie had a few things to say.
Yes.
So unpack
what was I
that.
gonna say? Okay, no, well, speaking
About the resentment.
yeah, the resentment.
Yeah.
What so Tiana was saying. I know of people and parents, like you said, that actually take advantage of their kids,
Like, on purpose.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, oh, you got a job now, so you need to, like, almost like it's like a childish mindset. Almost like, okay, you know what? Well, you're working.
You make money
now.
too.
You make money, so contribute.
Wait,
to
can I
this.
interrupt you?
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like I raised you for all these years. Now it's your turn, and you're only like
So-
a kid.
Oh my gosh.
You know
Yes. Okay, wait, go.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So much more in the I don't know, like in the Asian community, at least of what I've noticed.
Yes.
Like, you know, our norm is. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Our norm is, you know, oh, like you said, we raise you, and now that you're grown, you're having a job, it's your turn to raise us, type thing. You know, isn't not?
I feel okay. Let's unpack that. Okay, so let's go back to let's take a step back, like 3 minutes ago when Sudiana was talking about
Yeah.
resentment
Yeah.
and how she said that. What did you say that like you
You were
feel
able to-
understand?
Like, really,
them?
like half of it is
torn.
like
you're torn in
I'm
between.
torn, like,
not me. I'm
resentment.
not torn. I resent. I'm not torn. I resent. And I don't like to be.
Have you talked to your therapist about this?
I have.
You
I have.
Okay, well,
I don't like to be an angry, bitter person just because I feel like when you make yourself feel angry and bitter, like
It's just you vibe off that.
Yeah, you just
it ain't the
nerve.
move.
You're,
Yeah.
you're just
vibes.
really speaking from the heart.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
feel.
me,
Yes.
I resent them for that because they should have known better.
Yeah.
Because by the time that I was 14, working to pay for adult bills, they
If you
were
were able to do that.
they
at
were
14, then
they were like 35, 30.
They're in their early 30s.
like
Yeah.
they were old enough. And if you have 5 kids and you're old enough to freaking understand that, like me, I'm 27, I have 2 kids, I'm old enough to understand that I would never make my kids do that. So I resent them for that because they should have known better. They know better. And you know, yeah, we could say in the earlier years, yeah,
Okay.
when we were all still
Yeah.
babies,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's understandable, but like we were all grown at that point.
I know, but I just like I feel like we talk about a lot like just about like our experiences on here, like with our parents, and I don't want to come off like, oh, we hate our parents, because we don't.
We don't hate our parents.
I'm just like, I just want it to be like an open space where we can tell our experiences, like what we went
Right.
through, because like for you feel like that, right? Like you resent them because you're like, damn, they should have known better. And I get it, I do feel that too, but at the same time it's like they were struggling too. But then it's like it comes back to education part. Like they were never educated about
Yes.
the money,
But, okay,
and how to
the
use
thing is
it,
this. The
and
thing
how
is
to
this.
budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't love my parents. I love my parents, and you know, there's at the end of the day, I would not be here without them. Literally, I'm half of them.
Yeah.
But it's like they were living in that lifestyle for so long, even till this day.
Yeah.
They're living in that lifestyle. So
Yes.
that's why I resent them for it, because
Like you
they
choose
know.
you
They
choose it to not
chose-
be a cycle.
They chose for it to be a cycle
Yes.
over and over and over
Yes,
again.
I get that.
So I mean, yeah, at some point I did feel bad for them, but at some point they did it to themselves.
And
So-
I guess I could understand your point of view, because it's like at some point it's kind of like enabling.
Yes,
right?
you
Like
are
you're enabling them to
Yes.
continue. And I think that's not like kind of why I don't really talk to my parents as much anymore in that aspect, is because I know that, you know, if you are like a, you know, first generation immigrant child, you understand,
Yeah.
like they will always come to you if for things that they need. And it's like, yes, you feel bad, so you're gonna ultimately give in because they're your parents. Like, you know, going back to like what we said, like ultimately I raised you up until this point, so now it's your turn to take care of me.
Yeah.
And it's like they will always know how to hit you with the guilt.
Yes.
So
It's-
even if it's money, even if it's whatever, they will always know how to hit your sweet spot.
And
So you will give it. You
And
know?
that was me, because whenever
you gave in a lot.
I gave in a lot. I used to give my
lot.
parents money all
lot.
the
You
time.
did?
Whenever
Yes.
me and my ex were together,
Oh,
my
I did not
ex-husband were
know
together,
that.
we would give them money so many times, to the point where I forgot how much they owed us.
Yeah.
And then like my ex-husband would be like, oh, don't forget, like they owe us, blah blah blah. And I was like, what, they do? I was like, I don't remember even giving them that money. And then like sometimes our parents would just give us money, and I'd be like, what is this for? And they'd be like, oh, remember we asked you for money, like so many times, to the point where I didn't even keep track anymore.
But then, okay, so that brings me to a point, you guys, like borrowing money within the family. Like, how do you
family.
feel about that?
So,
I think. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well,
Let's unpack this.
unpack it. Well, I mean, honestly, I'm so glad that we're talking about this, because, like you said, we all have such different point of views and backgrounds and
Yes.
experiences. In my family, I guess fortunately, I've never had to go through that. But just hearing that, I know people that have been through that.
Yeah.
Even some of my other family members have been through that, and I'm just like, wow, like how unfortunate. Like, why do they have to do that? Like
Where they had to borrow money.
Right, borrow from your own
Yeah.
kids, like
Oh,
you said.
okay.
I understand,
Yeah,
from your
yeah,
own kids. I'm
yeah.
like, really? And so, I mean, for us, we never had to. But then, like, borrowing within the family, like, I don't know. I think it was just so we had the knowledge of, like you said, some kind of knowledge growing up of what the value of money
Like-
is.
Like having
how
a
we were-
safety net of
a
money.
safety
Like how
net.
my mother-in-law says, 包作业, like,
Yes.
like, you know how
Oh,
to,
yeah.
like, budget your money.
Yes.
Growing
Yeah.
up, my mom and my dad, they've always like talked a lot about that, you know, too.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's just, it's been rooted in our heads.
Like, ingrained in you.
In
Yeah.
us to know that. So whenever I remember, even like as a teenager, whenever I don't have money, I will feel like I will feel
Yeah,
embarrassed to ask my mom for like,
yeah.
hey, $20 for gas. Like I will feel like
Yeah,
embarrassed to do that,
yeah.
you know. And then I don't think they've ever asked us to borrow money. I don't think they have. But so that's
let's say like if
If they
let's
will.
say like if right now, like if your brothers or you know even your cousin came and asked you like, hey, you know, like I'm struggling this month, like would you be able to borrow $300? Like how would you feel? Would you, now if you had the resources and that extra income, would you be willing to borrow it to them?
Yeah, I would 100%. I have before, not just even just with friends and like
Yeah.
close friends. I have
Yeah.
before, because if like
Okay.
you said, if I have the
The
if I have
means,
extra and
the
the
means
extra
to do it,
funds and the
yeah.
means, then yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for
people
me,
that I trust.
it's like a couple things. One, if I have the extra money and stuff, then yes. But also, if you're asking me for money, but I see you spending money left and right, like you got money,
That-
That's
hey,
a different
hell no.
That is a
Hell
good point.
to the
That's-
motherfucking no.
That's when it's,
And that's where I
Draw the
was
line.
at, because
She says,
no, because how are you gonna ask me for
Yes.
money because you're struggling to pay bills, but you
Yes.
just got a brand new iPhone 13, and I'm over here with the iPhone 6.
Yeah,
where
that's true.
That's where it don't make sense.
And it's
Yes.
like you just signed a brand new car at the car dealership. I'm driving a beater. Like
See, that's where I find that
that's where I say no.
straight up trash. That's
Yeah.
trash right there. Like you don't.
I think
do
that's
that.
just basic
Yeah.
respect.
It is
Like whether it be your own family, I think honestly, if they truly need it, and if you have the means,
Truly need
if you have the means, and they're like, they're
struggling,
for
yeah.
real,
like
struggling.
why not? You know, I think that's just my point of view.
Yes,
but then I
same-
feel like
same.
at the same time, if it's someone who is a habitual liar,
Yes,
where they
yes.
continually say that they're struggling, but then you don't see that they're doing any means to try to change their life
that,
or
yeah.
to try to
I know
level
people
up.
like that, yeah.
You know, then that's a different thing. I think a habitual
and I
liar
feel
is
like-
they take advantage of you.
advantage.
I feel like this goes
back.
back to your thing about like you're saying like you feel bad because you understand that they were struggling and blah
Yeah.
blah blah. But it's like yes, you feel bad, but then that's how they get you. That's how they get you to feel bad because
The guilt.
they
Yeah, I
have the
guess.
means and the fun to go buy a new car or go buy
Yeah.
a phone or
Yeah.
buy a brand new flat screen TV,
Or like
but
an
they don't have
iPad,
the money
yeah.
to pay the water
rent,
bill,
water bill.
and they're gonna like guilt trip you to doing it.
And that's
because-
just anybody, not
That's
just
just anybody.
We're not just saying like just family, like friends or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just like
I
friends.
know
Like,
people
let's
like
say your
that.
friend is asking you for money, but then
Yeah.
you see them out here booking trips to go to freaking Miami,
Or
Or
even
going out
like
to go drink
yeah, or even
Yes.
or even people like, oh, can I crash at your house because they have no house?
Yeah.
And it's like the reason why they don't have a house is because they don't know how to budget their money, where their
Budget.
They don't make it a
priorities is.
priority.
But then they go to music festivals like every weekend.
Yes.
It all
to,
comes
yeah.
down
you know,
to like your main priorities in life. You gotta prioritize.
It does.
You gotta prioritize your things.
It really just all comes down to priorities. Like, what is your priority? You know, like housing, job wise, where are you gonna sleep?
It's like, do you want to be worried about where am I gonna sleep at night? How am I gonna get food? Where am I gonna get clean water? You know, like just the basic necessities to survive.
Wait, there's
like there's that thing, you know what I'm talking about?
The pyramid.
Yes.
Yes, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
yeah, I learned it in college.
It's the
Maslow's. Yes.
Oh my gosh, you guys remember?
Yeah, from college.
You need exactly.
From you need the basic things
in life first
to survive.
And then you can add on like other things like fun and then like friends.
And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, I'm gonna link the link.
If
you're on YouTube, I'm gonna put it right here on the screen. It's a triangle, Maslow's pyramid or something basic needs
or some shit.
And then we'll also post it to our Instagram stories so you guys can see what we're talking about.
We love an educated gal.
Yeah. So I guess you can say we're all three educated since we both. We all understood. Like period.
Maslow.
Period. Thank you.
But it kind of brings me back to what you were saying, Satana, about like the elders, or whether they're elders or the youngers, that they were never educated on these type of things and stuff. But to back that up, to go against that, like what thou said, when you have done it for so long,
it goes back to the habitual thing.
Exactly. You just need to, at this point, you should have learned. You should have known better. You should have learned by now to make a change for
and that's why I'm torn, because it's like half like, okay, I get it, and half like, oh, I feel bad.
I feel like it's like it's like an addiction thing.
I was stop, because Valerie freaking Jean, I was literally just going to say the word addiction.
Because it literally is just like an addiction.
It's just like drugs.
It's just like drugs.
Or it's just like going to the casino.
It's just like going to
any type of addiction
that you can't.
Addiction is.
You don't want to know I just did.
Like it's like they ask you for it over and over again, and then you help them out, and then you think like, okay, fine, like this is the last time. And then no, it's not the last time. They do it again and again. And that's what you call manipulation and addiction.
Not only an addiction to that, but it's just like toxic relationships, right? Like, baby, this is the last time I'm gonna cheat.
Or it's like being addicted to like it's like, I feel like for that, it's like being addicted to like spending all of your money and then being like, how am I gonna survive on my next one? Like, I spent it all.
Yeah, it's a cycle. It's an addiction is a cycle that is hard to break.
Say that again.
An addiction is a cycle,
and it's hard
to break.
Oh, look at us with our little
spitting bars.
21. Can you do something for me?
Wait. 116. Can you do something for me?
So that's exactly what it is.
It really is an addiction.
It's hard to break that cycle.
It's a cycle. It's toxic. Yeah.
I think I just defined addiction. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
If you go to addiction in the dictionary, you're gonna see Sadie's definition.
Urban Dictionary.
Oh, can you edit it on there?
I think you can.
I'm gonna
do it.
So just a few of my thoughts. Just a few of my thoughts over this topic. One, I don't want to shame anybody, if you're struggling with money.
Period.
If you have debt, because everybody has debt. Yeah. I have a lot of debt. Debt is embarrassing, but once you come to terms with how much fucking debt you have, it's fine.
Yeah.
Because then you're more aware.
Yes.
As long as you're aware and you want to make a change.
Yes. So I just want to offset by saying that we're not here to shame anybody for, having money, not having money, having debt, not having debt.
Yes.
We understand that money and just like financial literacy is a really hard thing.
Yes.
And this is just my opinions, my personal experiences, my struggles. An open conversation. At the end of the day, whenever you put your financial wealth and your financial health like in front of your physical health, like together up there, it's the same level. Physical health, financial health, like everything up there, you will get better and things will be easier for you. It's just a few of my comments.
Yeah, I second that. And what my takeaway from this episode is, like you said, I feel like it's never too late for you to start now.
Yes.
However old you are, it's never too late. Like, you really, really, you've got to prioritize your things in life, honestly. Like, but the most important things first, like you said, your physical health, mental health, or whatever, and financial, especially if you're living in the United States of America.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is moolah.
Money makes the world go round.
Yes. They don't grow on trees, baby. I'm so sorry, but you gotta work for your money.
I wish it did.
Right? You just, it's literally, valuable. So just think of it that way.
Period.
So what I want, so my takeaway. Hello. Hello. So I just want to say, like, on the being like a double-edged sword, like, if you are the person who is habitually borrowing money, or if you are the person who finds yourself in that cycle, I just want you to make the realization to yourself, like, first ask yourself, am I doing that? Am I doing those things? And what can I do to help myself get out of this cycle? And the first step is realization. That's really all it is realization, and then taking baby steps to get better.
Take actions.
Because
try to change yourself for the better.
Not only are you hurting yourself, you're hurting others around you. Because you know why? It's a what?
Addiction, which is a cycle
of.
No, I thought it was
no cycle
that's hard to
that's
stop.
hard to break.
Cycle that's hard to break.
Yes, exactly.
Period. As always, we upload a new episode every Monday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can find us on Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram at 116th Hotline. You can follow us there, message, DM us your stories, or you can comment on the YouTube video. If you're listening to the audio right now on Spotify, head on over to YouTube so you can find our video.
Right?
Yes, and leave us a review on Spotify.
Yes, if you have ever listened to even just one episode, leave a review for us on Spotify, leave a review on YouTube, and we're trying to get on Apple Podcasts. I didn't tell you guys that. I'm trying to get us on Apple Podcasts, so make sure you leave your reviews so we can get that going.
I'll DM a foot pic if you leave us a review.
No foot pics here, but thank you guys so much for watching and for listening. Love you guys. See you next week for a new episode. Bye.